It was good. I'm Isaac Lee, and we're back doing the final review for what I'm going to be calling Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Even had to wrap it with the whole t-shirt and everything like that, so let's get straight into it. From beginning to end, I just really love everything this show had to offer. I love the fact that at the very beginning, you see him giving up the shield because of what that mantle means and how he feels like people aren't going to really take to him carrying that mantle of being Captain America. And I love that by the time we get to episode 6, you see him taking that mantle in spite of what it's going to mean. I love the fact that we get to see how grounded Sam Wilson is. So far we've always seen him in this heroic setting, and this time it was very grounded. We got more character development with Sam Wilson. We got more character development with Bucky Barnes. We get into PTSD. We find out just how much regret he has as far as being Winter Soldier and him carrying around that book trying to make amends for things that he's done in his past. Aside from that, we get all of these ideals about the government and the fact that they're trying to bring all these people back into power who may have been missing for that 5-year blip, and now they're trying to get back to the old guard, but at the same time they're forgetting of the people that have been around who've been needing help this whole time. And that's where the flag smashers come in, and it's like you understand where they're coming from, even though you might not agree with the way they're going about it, because they do get reckless at times. But it gets to this point where you understand where they're coming from, and had the government just understood and not just neglected them as much as they did, they wouldn't have to exist to begin with. I'm still curious about the future of Baron Zemo, because you know he's going to get off that raft. I honestly thought they were going to take him straight to, and I'm talking about the Dora Milaje. I honestly thought they were going to take him straight to Conda, judge him right then and there. They ended up taking him to the raft. Somehow he's going to break out of that. He was definitely happy when he found out about the flag smashers dying. And I'm curious who the old man was. You know that scene where the flag smashers, they were in that little, I guess you want to say a convoy, and they were about to ride off, and one security guard said one world, one people, or something like that. I probably said it backwards, but the whole thing just blows up, and then you see an old man in the car in the far distance who everyone said that's Alfred from Batman. I just really love how it came all together. I love the fact that it just looks so similar to the movie of Captain America Winter Soldier. So it's almost like it comes full circle how it has the same aesthetic of the movie Captain America Winter Soldier. And then by the end of the movie, after before the mid-credit scene, you see how they changed the title to where it says it's changed from the Falcon and the Winter Soldier to Captain America and the Winter Soldier. The fact that it kind of came full circle. One prediction I had that didn't come true, I kept thinking that maybe we were going to get some appearance of old man Steve Rogers, because people kept talking about him as if he had died and everything. So I'm thinking, what if he's not really dead, but he's just hiding out and things like that? But no, we didn't see that. They kind of, who knows, maybe they're leaving that out for some other time. Like maybe he really is hiding out, and even Sam doesn't even know where he is. Another thing that comes to mind that really hit home for me was the relationship between Sam Wilson and Isaiah Bradley. And the reason that hit home for me, because every time I saw Sam Wilson, I thought about my older brother. 25 years, National Guard, physically fit, same age, same height. It's like every time I saw Anthony Mackie and Sam Wilson, I couldn't help but think about him. And then at the same time, every time I saw Isaiah Bradley, I couldn't help but think about my grandfather, who also had a military background. And so every time they had a conversation, I would always imagine my oldest brother and my grandfather having a conversation. Which, with that said, I'm sure he watches these, I'm going to have a conversation about your perspective on that. Back to the show, I just really love that grounded perspective. And I love that how they really tied up the end as far as with Isaiah Bradley and him giving him his just due and things like that, and going to the museum. One thing I've heard being hinted around is that his grandson Eli Bradley might be in the MCU, because if you know anything about the comic, with him being the grandson of Isaiah Bradley, that means he has a little bit of that super soldier serum in him. So I'm curious to see what comes of him. I'm also curious to see what comes of the other guy. I'm blanking on his name, but he was the guy who Sam said, oh yeah, you can go and keep the wings. I'm curious what's going to happen to him. Does he take on the mantle of being the Falcon? So I'm really interested. I'm sure Marvel, they have all these plans intact, so I'm just gonna sit back and wait and just see what happens. The next show to come out is gonna be Loki, but we got a little bit of time before that. That's not gonna come out till June. Aside from that, I love the soundtrack they put at the very end. They give you a nice little happy ending at the very end, and it was like a very old school feel sound, and I had to look it up. Come to find out, it's this artist named Curtis Harding, and the song was called On and On. On, and I play that on repeat, no lie. I love that song. I'm learning that song as I record this now. I love the fact that one of the theories that everyone had was about Sharon Carter being the power broker, and the reason I kind of felt like she might be the power broker, this is just me personally, I was kind of go off what happened with WandaVision and the fact that the big bad happened to be someone who was introduced early on. So when they came out with this show, and I'm like, okay, you only got 6 episodes, and by episode 3 I'm like, okay, you don't really have time to be introducing any new characters. And that's when I even started thinking, what if it is Sharon Carter? I'm like, it would just make sense. I'm like, you don't have a whole bunch of time. Again, only 6 episodes, and sure enough, she ended up being the power broker. She gets reinstated to where she can come back into the US. So now she has all this access, and she's on the phone with some people talking about how, hey, we can set up shop, we got all these resources and whatnot, we can get it cracking. Overall, man, I had some not really high expectations, but it definitely exceeded it. I like it. I love Captain America and Winter Soldier. Again, I'm calling it Captain America and Winter Soldier. We putting some respect on his name. I can't wait to see what they do next. Well, the only thing we know now is that they are going to do a 4th Captain America, so I'm curious to see what that movie's gonna look like and what the story mode is gonna be. So I'm gonna have to look up some clips, maybe go to some Comics Explained to see what kind of storyline does Sam Wilson have as Captain America. I'm curious to see, okay, what does that mean for Bucky? Does the Dora Milaje step in at any point in time to have certain interactions there? Because we did see them in certain episodes in the series, so I'm just curious to see how it all comes together. But at the end of the day, those are just my thoughts, but what are yours? And if you like what I had to offer, hit that like and subscribe at the bottom. I'm Isaac Lee, this is The Rundown.